Howdy guys, wanted to show you take the opportunity to show you the inside and internals of an engine, of a 430,000 mile engine. It's not something we get to see very often, which is a very good thing. But for 430,000, original head bolts, original injectors, all this stuff you see here is original. Even this gasket, this valve, I call it a valve cover gasket with the wiring for your injectors. It's all original. Mine, this truck had a really hard life. The manifold is not original, and I think he might have had an EGR valve replaced. But as far as my knowledge goes, his EGR cooler is original, which really surprises me. Anyways, so first things first, the guys that are curious to see inside an engine, they want to see a hone. How bad is it? Now, keep in mind, this truck has been fairly abused. This is not a truck I personally own. This is one of my buddy's trucks, and just so happened that a couple of the drivers are really rough on it and overheated the piss out of it. I believe I've heard 258 on the coolant, which is really high. I would expect the head gasket to go a lot sooner than 430, considering I lost, I think, 2 radiators. So that should tell you something. But as far as the hones go, for 430,000 miles on a truck, okay, you can see that one better. They're all identical. There's no scarring, there's nothing. I mean, look at that thing. They are all the same. Considering the fact that the injectors were leaking, I mean, you could tell there was coolant in every cylinder. Yes, a little bit drained, but I'm positive the injectors were leaking. This truck was starting to run really lousy and push coolant through the reservoir tank. So I knew it was time for a head gasket. I knew it was time for injectors. But considering the fact that you could tell all were leaking, some were a little more than others, but still ran decent. It was still drivable. It was just sluggish. Anyways, guys, just wanted to show you. I know a lot of you guys are curious on my high mileage stuff, and a lot of times I refer to, this truck doesn't burn oil or doesn't burn any more or less oil than it did from the factory. Still doesn't state or show in that video the condition of the cylinder walls, which in this one I did show. And as far as the driver and the owner goes, at this point he's like, hey, there's no real concern of oil consumption. There's a leak on the back end, the main seal's leaking, but he's like, to my mathematical skills and calculation, I'm losing just as much as I'm leaking. So but anyways, I'm even surprised how well how they're all just perfectly fine at 430,000. I'm not gonna mess with them. Clean the deck up, take it real easy on those cylinders, wipe them down, or should I say vacuum it, wipe it down just a hair and vacuum it again and call it a day. I mean, recondition the head. It's already been taken to a engine shop, so they'll go through the head and more or less put a fresh head on here with a good old head gasket, and we'll be good to go. On a side note, for you boys curious about rest of the powertrain, the transmission's original on this truck. The rear axle is original. I'm not sure about the U-joints, but I'm not positive, but I'm 90% sure the U-joints are even original on here. The turbo is original, but we did have to do an actuator on this truck. So that's it, man. You just take good care of it, run good fluids, and it just proves itself. Despite the fact that some people decide to be ignorant, and I'm talking about the drivers overheating this truck, it still is a reliable truck, considering the fact that it pulls a gooseneck most of its life. And the times that it was overheated, it was just pushed with a gooseneck. So anyways, as always, may the Lord bless you, and may y'all have a mighty fine day.